Okay, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Just as a reminder, a couple of things before we get started. I hate the gavel. First, no, I'm not going to bang the gavel. I'm not a judge. Awesome. I confer that duty upon you. First, we are being recorded. This is going out streaming live, so my little stand-up here is probably not going over very well. And secondly, I'll ask that you please silence your cell phones so that we can conduct an orderly meeting. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Gonzalez, if you'd please introduce the folks that will be leading the pledge for us tonight.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent Nicholas, and Mountain House community. I am pleased to have some of our wonderful Wickland scholars come on up. So I'm going to announce their names. We'll have them stand. They'll lead us. We have Eliza, Crystal, and Sadak. Come on up, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Roll call, please.
Matthew Balterini.
Absent.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Sharon Lampel.
Here.
Shane Nielsen.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Samantha DeTubris.
Here.
And we have a couple of presentations.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, let's have your scholars show their stuff.
Thank you. We're honored here to present this evening to you our Wickland Science Olympiad. So how this works is we have our scholars that are going to present. We also have two parent coaches who are very involved in the school in a variety of capacities in many different ways. Super positive parents and are always there supporting the scholars. So they'll also come up and present. We have Eve Lowe and we have Goldie Chima, two parents on our Wickland Science Olympiad team who are also going to share their perspectives. So before our scholars present, last year, Drew Kieran presented to the board Science Olympiad. And so this year we've taken it to the next level. So before the scholars share their perspectives on their achievements thus far this year and what they're doing, this year we've gone to the next level. That here in Mountain House, we have Division A, and that's our younger scholars. And we have teams from Altamont, Bethany, Cuesta, and of course Wickland. Division B, which these scholars are a part of, are teams of 15. There's 23 events. They'll go over the events that they're in and what they're doing. We have teams from Altamont, Bethany, Cuesta, and Wickland. We have 2 teams this year. And then finally this year, we've been working with Mountain House High for a Division C team, and that's a team of 15, and they participate in 23 events. So our scholars and our wonderful parents are going to come up and speak about the events that they participate in and their experiences with Science Olympiad. So I'll turn it over to them. Go ahead, ladies.
Hi. So I'm a part of 2 events in the Wickland tournament this Saturday, and one of them is Crime Busters, which has to do with forensic science. In the competition, you were given a packet about a crime scene, and with that, you were supposed to analyze unknown powders, fingerprints, and DNA transcripts, and you were supposed to find the suspect of who did the crime. Another event I was in was food science. Food science is where you learn about dairy products and what are in them and what you eat in them. In the competition, we do lab experiments of which we make ice cream, cheese, or butter. And after that, we are allowed to eat them. So it's fun. And actually, Lisa and Sadak are actually a part of food science too, but they're going to talk about their other events. So, there.
So one of my events is Scrambler. In Scrambler, it's a building event. It's the one shown in those 2 pictures right there. It's you build a car, and then you launch it using that giant square thing. And then on the front of the car is a little egg attached. So you have to go to a certain distance, and the car cannot pass that distance, or else it hits the barrier and the egg will smash. And you have to get as close to it as you can without going past. My other event is wind power. In this event, you build a mini wind turbine, and you use a fan to spin it to get the maximum voltage possible. After that, you take a test learning about the history of wind power and different things about electricity and such.
The two events I'm in this Wickland tournament are Picture This and Write It to It. In Picture This, we have 4 minutes to guess 25 words, and we alternate, so one partner is drawing while the other person is guessing, and we switch after that. In Write It to It, a structure is given to one partner to write about, and then the instructions are given to the other partner to build it exactly as possible. The past tournaments we've been in are in Churchill, Miraloma, and Muscatel, and our school placed 3rd place in Miraloma overall.
This weekend, our school, Wickland, is hosting an invitational at Wickland, and we'll be having about 30 teams from all over the state and even some in LA. Then on March 5th, we have our regionals, which is a countywide competition at McNair High School. And then if we get into the top 4 teams there, we'll go on to states April 16th at the University of Stanislaus. And hopefully, if we win that, we'll go on to nationals, but that's a hope still.
Why should you join Science Olympiad? Well, for one, Science Olympiad is a really fun thing to do. I mean, every Wednesday night we go to school and we meet up with everyone who's part of the team, and you get to practice all your events. It also provides opportunity and gives good environment for the students. It helps the students focus on their grades, and it helps them shape their future because it really looks good on your resume because you're part of Science Olympiad. And it establishes a tradition in Mountain House High School, or Mountain House, the town, you know. So why not? Science Olympiad's really fun.
So here was our school team, and now I would, good evening, my name is Goldie Chima. First of all, thank you board members, Dr. Nicholas, Dr. Gale, for giving us the opportunity to represent Wickland School in the Science Olympiad program. Big thanks to Dr. Gill for bringing tremendous passion to this program. I remember 2 years ago when she introduced the program, she would be at the school before even the kids got to the school to coach her events. We would also like to thank Mr. Gonzalez and Mrs. Quintana for a great leadership and providing the scholars the opportunity to participate in the program and making the school facilities available whenever needed. Special thanks goes to Mr. Kirian for excellent leadership and execution to bring Wickland to be a regional champions last year. And we're hoping to repeat this at the state and national levels this year. Special thanks also goes to the coaches, parents, and above all, our scholars who give a big effort and time beyond the school activities to make it a success. Thank you all. And now Eve is going to talk about a little more about the Science Olympiad. Thank you.
Thank you, Goldie. My name is Eve Low, and I'm one of the coaches for the event called Write It, Do It, which Sadat has mentioned a little bit about it. So just let me run through the achievement that we've achieved since last year, comparing last year and this year. So we usually have 3 invitational before the regional and states competition. So the very first, so each tournament we have 23 events, and we have 2 teams, each team about 15 members, and we have about 32 students altogether, I believe. So last year at the Churchill competition, we did not medal anything. And the kids went back very, very sad and disappointed. But that was a turnaround for each and every one of them because we saw firsthand what competition at Science Olympiad is all about. So instead of being discouraged, we all gathered together and worked even harder. And then this year, we medaled 5 events. And one of the events, we got first place. And that is remarkable, comparing from nothing to 5 events that we medal. So the second invitation we went is Miraloma. All these are in Sacramento. Churchill and Miraloma, they are in Sacramento. Last year, we were placed over the 5th place. Overall, for all the competitors, we were placed 5th place. And this year, we are 3rd in position. And 2 weeks ago, we just came back from LA. We attended this school called Muscatel. This is a very tough competition because we are competing with all those top champions, the state's competition. They're the first place, second place, third place. So it's a very tough competition. So last year when we did, we only medal one event. All the way to LA, we only had one event, but that doesn't mean that we will not do better. So this year, we have 5 medals, 5 events that we medaled it. And this Saturday, of course, is Weekland Invitational. Last year, I think we had 5 medals. This year, I'm hoping we have more, and all of you are welcome to join us and see this fantastic event. Now, regional last year, we have 2 teams, right, as I mentioned. One of the team, we got first place, and we literally knocked out the champion of 17 years. So Weekland is out of nowhere. Who is Weekland? Who is Weekland Elementary School? And we came from behind. They were shocked. And the other team, we got 5th place. So this year, we're hoping that we can get first and second in position. And then last year, we went up to the States for competition, and we placed the 8th place. So this year, of course, we are hoping to improve our position. Now, like I said, just within a year, we have done so much, and that's really achievement. And of course, our hope is to get to national one day. And I know we can do it. So Science Olympia is not just winning the medal and getting the bling bling, you know. It's also more on building the kids' confidence, something that they cannot learn in school, in the classroom. So this is something that this is beyond what they are already doing, and they learn so much. We meet every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. as they are practicing right now as I speak. And at the site, we meet the coaches, we will meet the students like over the weekends, once a week. So we have, imagine if the kids has 3-4 events, 3-4 coaches want their time. So you go figure how busy they are. But that's a good thing, so that they don't have to spend their time playing computer and watching unnecessary videos. So put the quality time in good use. And the other benefits I see is that we have grown as a big family. I mean, we meet, we compete together. It's the synergy and the unity that is something that we cannot get it. It is true because of this Science Olympia, it brought us all together, and we intend to keep the fire burning. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So to conclude, as Eve shared, we would definitely like to extend the invitation to you all if you're able to attend this weekend. We start at 8 in the morning. We'll go till 5 with the awards ceremony at 4 o'clock in the multi-use room. I would like to give a recognition out to Coach Kieran, who's not here because he's out on the site with his scholars and his parents, and really putting on the final touches for this weekend event. But he puts in countless hours to get us to where we are, as do, of course, the wonderful scholars and parents that you just heard from to get here. And I know he's very humble. And I said, I'm gonna say something good about you. So I said, no, it's not about me. It's about the kids. It's all about their success. But he's instrumental in their success, and he's been a catalyst for change at the site. So hats off to him. And again, thank you for the opportunity to share what we've been doing this year and where we're heading as well. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And I think at this
like
time, they need to
say
go
something. Yeah.
go back to their coaching.
Wait, don't go yet.
Oh, wait,
Don't go
can't
yet.
go.
I have a couple of very brief comments. First of all, I was there last year. I'm sorry I'm going to miss it this year. I have a master's in governance class from the School Board Association. Warmed my heart. 2 things jumped out tonight. Number 1, I heard a student say science is fun more than once. And girls interested in science. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hold on to that interest in science. And to the parent who talked about not doing as well last year, part of learning is failing, and they obviously learned from it because they're doing better this year. So students, parents, principal, thank you so much. You've warmed my
Thank you all
heart
very
tonight.
much. Now go practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And second, we have the Kate writing contest.
So I'd like to invite Francis Chamberlain, who's spearheaded this at least for the last couple of years, and each year has been producing some winners for our district and representing the cause of good writing. And as a former English teacher, that makes me feel good. So we have a couple of certificates here, but we'll turn it over to you, Francis, to introduce the students.
Okay. I actually have just one name of the student. The other name I don't have memorized.
Okay.
Just to give you some context, the Kate Writing Contest is run by the California Association of Teachers of English, and these students placed in the regional for Central California. So we're talking, I don't know exactly how many, but probably close to 8 to 10 counties represented. We had a high volume of contest entries this year, so it's not a small task. We had one first place from, I believe, Cuesta, and then one from Altamont Elementary School. So the first place was Sarah Jane Yumi Ho, and okay. Okay, over here. Over here. Come on. And from Altamont Elementary School, Derek Rubin. I am very proud of these two students, and just to let you know, we have a writer's reception where the students that placed read their writing aloud, and the writer's reception is very nice. They get another certificate, they get a bunch of prizes and things, so it's really a fun evening. And usually that's at Mercy High School in San Francisco. So I don't know exactly the venue this year, but it's probably going to be around that area, if not Mercy again.
So last but not least, we'd like to acknowledge Francis, who for bringing these opportunities to the kids. It's that kind of dedication that provides these opportunities like the ladies from Wickland. And now we'd like to award you with a certificate of appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And to piggyback off the last two presentations we had, it shows to me the what we can accomplish as a school, as a district, as teachers, as students, when we have a great student, parent, teacher collaboration, when you've got that much energy, focus, and determination from all sides like that. The students can accomplish so many great things, and it's so rewarding for them, whether they go just to participate or they go to excel. It's a fantastic opportunity, and I just want to personally thank Mr. Kirian and Mrs. Chamberlain for all of their efforts, and all of the teachers for their efforts for programs like this, because it is these types of things that you're not compensated enough for. No one understands the time, the effort, the energy that puts into it, and what we get in return is to see these young students who have fun doing science or writing or math or whatever it might be that is outside the realm of what most people would consider as competition. But to see them competing in stuff and loving science, math, and English, to me, is a heartwarming opportunity for me to be able to sit here and appreciate. So thank you both very much. Thank you, principals, and good job, kids. Go get them. Let's see. We'll move on. Any approval or correction to the agenda?
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And one absent, motion carries. Employee recognition. Dr.
So we have
Nichols.
one final employee that we'd like to recognize. He was not able to come tonight, but we're going to ask our CBO, Alvina Kaiser, to speak on his behest.
This is regarding the Sharp School staff portal, the website. He created the backbone to put, organize the team, organize staff, train the staff to collect all the documents necessary so the staff could find an easier location of documents. We initially had started something we called district shares, but it grew into just veins of a body. It was very difficult to find information. So this will make the process of finding mileage reimbursement forms, payroll timesheets, tax forms much easier. And so I'd like to really acknowledge the work that he put to make it happen.
And he is James Reed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so committee reports. Facilities Use Committee, Mr. Palmer, do you have anything you want to say?
No, just that we have a committee meeting coming up Monday, is that correct?
Yes, we have a committee meeting coming up on Monday, and then today, Ms. Kaiser and I met with the folks from the website, I forget what
Civic
they're called.
Permits.
Civic Permits folks, so we'll be able to discuss some of the known issues with regards to the Civic Permit site and making sure that's hopefully going to be a little bit more smooth moving forward, so. DAC?
The next District Advisory Committee is scheduled for February 29th at 6:30.
The District English Language Advisory Committee, DLAC?
Yes, we had a meeting on January 27th, and we had some good, rich conversation. It was nice to see Ms. Kaiser there, so this way she puts on her budget hat and understands, what are we doing with this? We can tell her we need to buy X, Y, and Z, but to have her involved in the process and see why we're doing what we're doing with the money, I think was fabulous. She kept taking, oh, that's good to know. We learned at the committee meeting that the district is reviewing the supplemental materials, and the committee very strongly would like to see consistency in English language development materials across the district. So we know that's happening. They're looking at materials, and we know we'll get there after they've piloted and looked at and selected what they need for ELD. We discussed some ELD strategies, how ELD standards and English language arts materials and standards are now very closely linked, so they're not seen as something separate. And it was eye-opening for the parents who were at the meeting to learn how these language development strategies are done throughout the day, and it's good teaching for all students. And that was pretty much it. We're still struggling to get more parents at these meetings. So we only had 3 parents. Did I miss anything?
Nope, I think you covered it really well.
Okay.
And yes,
so
we do struggle to get parents there, but the parents that come talk quite a bit. They're very interactive.
They're fabulous.
So.
Yeah.
The Gate Art Music Committee, do you have anything you want to say on it?
No, we have not met. The meeting is next week.
Our first meeting next week, so I'm very much looking forward to it. Safety and Crisis Response, Mr. Balzerini is not here, so there will be no report. And Wellness Committee, Mr. Pombo.
We haven't had a meeting since the last board meeting, but I would like to mention that on February 20th, we are having a district wellness or health fair at the high school, and hope to see everybody out there.
Okay. So with that, we'll move on to governing board reports.
Okay, so I wanted to start out by briefly mentioning one of the newer technologies in the high school, which is called Land School. I noticed that it has had some issues along the way, but overall, I think it has a great purpose and helps to keep students on task during their classes. And secondly, last week, I had the amazing opportunity to attend the Tri-Valley Leadership Conference, and I was able to collaborate with other students from other high schools and get ideas so I can bring them back to implement at the high school. And so I'm really looking forward to creating new traditions.
Super. Thank you. Mr. Clements?
I did attend DLAC with Trustee Lampel on January 27th. I also attended the Mountain House High School Athletic Booster Club's crab feed last weekend. It was a sold-out event. The feedback that I heard from everyone that provided feedback was that they really enjoyed the event. As the treasurer for the Athletic Booster Club, I would like to thank Trustee Lampel and Trustee Pombo for attending. I understand that Trustee Lampel bid generously for the pool party that my wife and I donate.
You still lost?
I still lost.
And it got snapped up at the very last minute. But don't lose heart. There are 2 other opportunities because Ginny and I are donating one pool party to the QSF auction on March 12th and one to the WSF auction on April 29th, because those are the 2 schools that Ginny is a librarian for. So we're donating one there. So you have 2 more opportunities. Don't lose heart. I did want to share with the board that I completed the Masters in Governance program and received my pin, but it is not, it's already been misplaced. I'll have it at the next meeting. And the last thing is that now that we have a contract, with the LTA and the teachers and the classifieds, I'm looking forward to working with district staff and the rest of the board to move onwards and upwards in terms of the goals of employee morale. And I'm hoping that issue will be on an agenda in the near future so that we can discuss it as a team. That's it for my reporting.
Mr. Pombo?
I attended the curriculum fair and the hosted science fair at Mountain House High School a couple weeks ago. There were many families of incoming freshmen there getting to know their teachers and what's going on at the high school. There were also some very impressive projects done by the hostess students, and the winter percussion group performed throughout the event and was enjoyable. I also attended, along with Trustee Clements and Trustee Lampel, the crab feed on Saturday, which I think was a huge success. I had a great time. The food was wonderful. The auction was lively. The attendees were generous, and lots of money was raised to support Mountain House High School athletics. And that is the end of my report.
Okay. Ms. Lampel?
Yes, I too was at the crab feed. Lively would be an understatement. The generosity in this community is overwhelming. That someone who I won't mention bought a cake for over $600. Yes, I bought very expensive chocolate chip cookies. And when I shared them with Principal Faubert, I said, these must be flaked with gold. So, but it was so much fun. And I don't even eat crab, but they were smart enough to have an alternate. So I could enjoy. It was so much fun. It just, the energy in the room was, you can't even describe it. It was an absolute blast. I will be going to my 2nd class of Masters in Governance on Saturday, which is why I can't go to the Science Olympiad in Visalia.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I'm hoping over this year and next year that I'll be able to finish the 5 classes, right? So, and I knew some of my colleagues had finished it because my superintendent at work was there and said, hey, I met your colleagues. Let's see. I also was very pleased to have a conversation with LTA about how they are committed to rebuilding the relationship with the district, and sounds like everything is starting to move in the right direction. And I wanted the public to hear that, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on, not at board meetings, and we tend to hear a lot of negative at board meetings. So those efforts are there, and I'm very pleased to hear them, and I will do whatever I can to help those efforts grow. And that's my report.
Super. And I'll be brief. Unfortunately, my time hasn't allowed me to attend some of the events, but I will say, having had the opportunity, thanks to someone else's generosity, to attend one of Mr. Clements' pool parties, not to bid you up, but I would suggest you bid. It's a good time. It was.
He didn't say that the first time I got outbid was by him.
and he has done that in the
He
past
pushed
too.
me
So he's pushing his own cost.
It's an opportunity to look at a board member and say, I wanted a cheeseburger.
That's exactly right.
Go back and put cheese on that.
The pool's
ketchup
a little
and
cold.
mustard.
Could we turn the heater up? It's that kind of stuff. So, I would echo what everyone has said. The generosity of this community at some of these events is truly mind-boggling. When you think about the size of our community and the amount of funds that we raise at our various schools, it's staggering, and very much appreciated because, unfortunately, with the nature of school finances, it's necessary. I'm going to end with echoing the comments that were made with regards to progress. As I said at the last meeting, I don't want to look in the rearview mirror anymore. I want to look ahead. I want to look forward to what this district can do, what we're trying to do, what we want to accomplish with regards to our students. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic in seeing what's going on at school sites. I was here at the office today and seeing meetings going on all over the place with regards to ways we can try to improve things for our staff, for our students. It's impressive given where we were. And I'm hopeful that we can continue to take those meaningful steps moving forward to try to ameliorate the issues that existed in the past and hopefully find a way to come back together and say, in the end, we're all here for the same reason, for the same 4,200 odd reasons that we were all here for 6 months ago. And I would echo what they've said as well, that if there is something specific that we can do, that I urge the community, the staff on every level to come and tell us, to talk to us, to engage us, because every one of us sits up here for that exact same reason, to try to help benefit those 4,200 students, or give or take. So I'm looking forward, and I hope we all are. So with that, I'll end governing board reports. We'll go into public comments. I currently only have 2 cards, but if you'd like to make a comment on something not on the agenda, you can go ahead and give me a card. If you do want to comment something on the agenda later, you're allowed to, absolutely. The cards just help us track what's going on. And I will start with Stephanie Olson, who's a Cuesta parent.
I'm mad at you.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
He outbid me.
Yes. She got the pool party.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to, lure you to our auction, which just to, reiterate, it's on Saturday, March 12th, and I know I stood here before the board in the fall and said that Cuesta wouldn't be having any events with alcohol. But the parents overruled me, and they had a great idea, and at one of our meetings we voted on it, and I feel like they've made a very responsible choice how they're going about it. Our auction is called Evening Under the Stars. It will be at Cuesta Park underneath a tent, and we've rented out the school and have 3 teachers who will be offering babysitting services for children 4 and up at the school during movie nights, so that parents can drop their kids off, go to the park, and they can do this all on foot, especially if you live in Cuesta, which, so I hope that you're all able to make it. We'd love to see you there. Dr. Nicholas, what sporting tickets do we want donated to get you there, lure you there?
Science tickets.
The reason I wanted to stand up tonight is, I've done this before, so I don't want to be known as the science fair mom, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm not going to go away about the science fair, and not, I don't want to be a thorn in anybody's side, because I do feel like I speak for quite the majority of parents. I've done an informal survey, I've evaluated it, I've talked to many people. And so I just wanted to stand up here and I met with Dr. Gill and Tara Bell and Jennifer Dran and learned where things are in the district now with regard to the science fair. And I shared where a lot of us parents would like to see it go. And I just wanted to touch on the things briefly that I feel like are the most important. Shane, you said rear view mirror, and I would like to see compulsory requirements for 4th through 8th grade in the science fair in the rear view mirror. I really think that we can serve two populaces of people here. There's the families that love the science fair and they will always do the projects and their kids will never not want to do it. And I don't want that opportunity taken away from them. But there are children that don't want to do it every year. And I will tell you that if you see a petition from an email address from a 6th grader at Cuesta, it might be my daughter. I didn't encourage that. She did that on her own. She organized at recess. If she sends it, I just said make sure your grammar's good and that it's respectful. But we would really like it if we just build up science in another way so that when students get to actually doing a science fair that's mandatory, they can do everything on their own. And it can be done at home. I mean, in class, not at home, please. Oh my goodness. Please don't have it done at home. And, the grading, I'm running out of time, but the grading is, I think the problem that parents have with grading is that the science fair is a competition. And competition grades don't always reflect academic or educational standards. There's other things as part of that competition, the way the board's organized. And I think that if we're grading a student in science, that the grade should reflect just that, science, not like did they glue the results on the right spot? Did they, put their data in the right way? We want to know, do they understand the scientific method? And are they using that? And so I had a lot more to say, but I will just be keeping my eyes and ears open to changes down the pike, and if not, you'll probably be hearing from me again very soon. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we're not supposed to respond, and I'm not going to accept to say to the board that if QSF or WSF gets a Bernie cake donated, the bidding might be fierce.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask to have a picture of that cake at the board meeting, and I got so busy at work I didn't have a chance to email anyone. It was amazing. It was a crab feed cake.
We'll show one at the we'll show one at the next board. It was a beautiful.
Yeah.
It was.
There was a picture on Facebook, but I don't know how to pull that up and get it here.
And then the other comment card we've got is from Rebecca Mabes from LTA.
I'm much shorter than her.
I know how you feel when Ben stands up there.
Yeah.
Good evening, Governing Board and Dr. Nicholas. At the last school board meeting, it was stated the settlement between LTA and LUSD was not far off from the first proposal that the district made, and we could have settled on day one. So I just wanted to clarify some facts. LTA did not declare impasse after the district's first offer, which was made back in May. We declared impasse after the district's fourth offer. I would also like to point out the significant differences between the two offers, because it's those differences which are why we chose to settle when we did. The percentage to the salary schedule is the same, and over 2 years equals 7%. But there's also a contingency based on the district's multi-year projection, which could ultimately bring that 7% up to 9%. The offer to the health cap was $600. It's now doubled to $1,200. Another difference is the compressing of the salary schedule and the incorporation of the longevity stipend into the salary schedule. One of our goals was and is to retain our quality teachers that we have. During the 2016-17 school year, so next school year, a teacher in column 5 in their 13th year of teaching will be earning $2,500 more with the settlement we have than with the prior offer. And with the previous offer, a teacher in column 5 in their 22nd year of teaching would have gone from earning, which is now $81,846, to earning $87,674 during next school year. But because of the compressed salary schedule and incorporation of the longevity stipend, that teacher will now be earning $94,255, which is a huge difference to a teacher. So on the surface, they may seem similar, but they're in fact quite different. So had this type of offer been offered sooner, we would have definitely settled sooner. And lastly, the LTA Executive Board remains committed to working with district admin to problem solve and repair our district culture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to presentations. Mountain House High School Career Pathway. Mr. Faubert? Dr. Nicholas?
We'll turn it over. I understand you know how to lift that thing up.
Actually, I think it's up from the last time. Everybody's been. And I only have 17 seconds, so I will see.
That is going to be a brief presentation.
Speed speaking.
Do we have my presentation? All right. All right.
Just ignore me.
Oh. Can you move it up?
Your head is missing.
You just
I know you
touched
can
it
move
last
the
time
camera.
and it lifted.
It's up.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
I guess
there
you go.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're worried about the camera.
There we
better.
go. A little better.
Remember last time he just walks up and goes, poof.
All right. So good evening, Governing Board, Dr. Nicholas, and community members and teachers that are here. I'm happy to be here this evening to share a little bit about the Career Technical Education Program at Mountain House High School as it exists now and what we're going to be doing, kind of the big vision plans. I like talking vision. It's fun. It takes a lot of work and brain power, but it's a lot of fun to talk about and envision what's actually going to happen. What we have right now at the high school is a reality because of the vision that we talked about over a long period of time while I was on the school board and now as the principal. So, and it's been made a reality because Dr. Nicholas, Mr. Hansen, Alvina, Dr. Gill, a bunch of people have been working very long and hard on all of these things. So before we start talking about career technical education, for the board's information and for the community's information, we're going to talk a little bit about what is career technical education. So this is just a brief explanation. It's a program of study that involves a multi-year sequence of courses that integrates core academic knowledge with technical and occupational knowledge to provide students with a pathway to post-secondary education and careers. And notice that the word is post-secondary, because it doesn't always mean college. In short, it's a program of education where students get practical hands-on experience in areas of interest that can lead into technical programs, certifications, and college programs. Their practical experience in high school can help them gain skills to be successful in higher education and readily apply their knowledge and skills right out of the high school setting. We're going to focus in on a couple of parts of this, so I know some of you are straining to see it, but we're going to zoom in on a couple of these points here. First of all, nationwide, about 94% of high school students are actually part of CTE nationwide. Students who get training or attain training in career technical education programs are readily available to fulfill the needs of employers right out of the programs sometimes, and they have high levels of skill in careers that are both high paying and in high demand. Sometimes we tend to, and in our country as a whole, over a long period of time, from about the late 80s to the mid 90s, we're pushing everybody to go to college. And some of the career technical education programs started dying off. People started getting rid of them until we realized, whoops, we just got rid of the training programs for students who go into much needed careers that are actually high paying, that don't necessarily need college educational skills. For example, many welders who come out of these programs make more than a college educated, individual going into business or education or other fields. So students involved in CTE courses are involved in classes in any number of one of the 16 career clusters that you see that are up there. and over 80 pathways that are available. And the courses are increasingly becoming integrated with rigorous academic and technical learning. They're integrated with industry and school partnerships. And they open up pathways to certifications and degrees right out of high school. And you'll see a couple of examples, one in particular that we currently have already implemented at Mountain House High School. Students involved in CTE courses leave high school more college and career ready, and they gain core academic skills along with employability skills and technical job-specific skills. So we currently have multiple pathways at Mountain House High School. Of note is one that you're probably most familiar with, and those are our Project Lead the Way pathways, engineering, biomedical science, and computer science programs. We additionally have our Cisco Networking Academy. I mentioned before that there are certifications that sometimes come along with this. Cisco Networking Academy is one of them. We offer the CCNA 1 and CCNA 2, which are networking academy courses that are directly articulated with CCNA 3 and 4 that students can take at Delta College. If they take 1 and 2 at the high school, complete 3 and 4 at the Delta College, which are each 1 semester long, then the industry can hire students with that certification that they get out of that, and they make $75,000 right out of the gate. If they take an additional 3rd security, network security class, that pay rate goes up to about $100,000, $125,000 a year. And these are technical programs where students are training and taking technical tests to pass certifications, going straight into the industry. So that's one example. Our culinary arts program, we have aims to also integrate some of those technical certifications, Safe Serve certifications, and as we build our catering program going into more of the career technical part and business part of running food service industries. Additionally, and I left a spot for it but didn't get around to finding a good picture for it, is our media arts and communications courses. More and more in our developing 21st century world, communicating ideas through media is becoming more and more important, and finding ways for example, school districts to advertise themselves to potential employers, for people to advertise or to communicate their ideas. Media arts and communication is becoming more and more important as well, and job-specific skills are needed for those students as they come straight out of high school, going into technical programs and into college programs for that. The next thing I wanted to draw your attention to, and you will not be able to see that, and unfortunately I don't have enough copies for the audience, but I want to pass these out to you. I'll keep one myself.
Pretty colors, however.
Before we opened Mountain House High School, we designed career technical education pathways that could be followed for students throughout their high school career so that they can kind of get an idea of the kinds of pathways that they can follow as far in their interest areas. At the top, you'll see that there are pathways, programs, titles, and then underneath in very small print are the industry sectors that those match up with in the career technical education pathways clusters. What this program is students are able to take this menu and take a look at the required courses that you have to take and then related courses that they can take along with it. Once they take an introductory course, a concentration course, and a capstone course, along with some of the electives, then they can be recognized for graduating out of one of these pathways upon graduation. They graduate with a cord, and we note it on their transcripts. It's akin to receiving a minor in college. So they choose their pathway, and they can receive their high school minor. And it's important to students because then again, they're gaining those job-specific technical skills as they go along. And it's also related to clubs and organizations that run on campus. For example, our HOSA, which was mentioned earlier in the meeting, our HOSA Club, which is the Health Occupation Students of America. It goes along with our biomedical science program, which is the blue column there. And they are doing an awesome job. They went to their local area level conference just earlier this week. I'm proud to say that we now have a larger team than a local neighboring high school, and we won many more medals and awards than a local high school. Many of our students were, when they first came to Mountain House High School, worried and requested transfers to stay at a local high school because they did not believe we would have this opportunity for them. And we're proud to say that we have a very strong program that will continue to grow. They will be going to the state leadership conference, hopefully, in the next month. So that's just kind of an idea of what we have available to students as they go through in the way of pathways. So recently we were also able to do a very small survey during our advisory period to ask students about their interests in the areas of career technical education. So we first asked who's currently taking a CTE course, and you'll notice that 46% of our students at this point are involved in one or more career technical education courses. And that's how it's stratified now, who's taking what in what areas. And the next question we asked them was what kind of training they were interested in taking after they graduate high school. That was very interesting to us. The majority of our students are planning to go on to either a 2-year college followed by a 4-year program, but it's interesting to see that there are quite a few students interested in going into the military or other training programs, and quite a few who aren't decided yet, which is just fine. This was even more interesting to us because this pathway menu was developed according to what we thought was what we needed at the school. This was a question of which CTE areas are you interested in taking? We were very interested to see that one of the largest areas obviously was health science, which we already have, but very close second is law, public safety, and corrections. We're fortunate that we actually have a staff member who has industry experience, and we are currently developing a program, not for this coming school year, but for the following school year for a criminal justice program, working into some crime scene investigation courses, and then making partnerships with local agencies. We recently were able to advertise an opportunity for our students, juniors, to participate in an FBI academy that's coming up in March, where they get to go to the FBI office in Sacramento and experience some things there and FBI careers. So very interesting to us what students are interested in. And those are some of the raw numbers there, in case you're interested. So what are our future plans? So we're going to continue to align our CTE programs to the industry sectors. We're going to continue working on making sure that we get our teachers fully CTE credentialed, because it is a different credential. While these teachers are teaching in CTE programs to become fully fledged CTE programs, we need to get them credentialed, and we're working on doing that. We're going to strengthen our current programs, but obviously build programs in the areas of interest. And I wanted to kind of point out, as we continue to align with our recent survey, we kind of looked into some programs that might be available for our students. So I mentioned some of them, like criminal justice and CSI. We actually, because we're in a very unique area where there's a lot of shipping and logistics going on, I've looked into programs across the country and in fact have a contact in the Atlanta area, which is another big, huge shipping and logistics area, in a high school that actually already has a very strong logistics program. So that's in the business realm. So implementing programs in shipping and logistics, economics of business ownership, sports marketing is also very popular. We actually next year have a class called Fashion Design and Virtual Merchandising, which falls in the business area as well as the arts area. We have a class that's being offered next year in music production, which falls in our media arts and communications. And also in the agricultural sciences, because we found a significant number of students who are interested in agriculture, and because we do cover areas that are agricultural areas. There's a couple of ideas that have been brought forward, including one recently that I was made aware of about aquaponics and building an aquaponic garden that is self-sustaining. The fish eat the whatever, and then their waste goes into the water and it grows. It's really cool. Anyway, there's programs for schools that are practically free. One that Dr. Nicholas brought up, viticulture, which is winemaking. And in fact, there is a school in the Napa Valley that has one of the nation's very first high school winemaking programs. Go figure. I had the additional idea of using wine grapes to make grape juice so that we can actually sell it and that students can taste it. But very interesting information. And then another one that is very interesting in looking into as far as the agriculture goes is olive oil production. So a big part of, I guess I didn't get that, a big part of creating these programs is creating industry partnerships, and we currently have partnerships with AMS, which is our internet provider, technical support in the district, Cisco, and Tapia, which is the developer of our district app, and Delta College with our partnership with the Cisco Academy. So I was supposed to go through these. This is a picture of the aquaponics garden that's actually already been implemented at San Lorenzo Valley High School in San Lorenzo Valley, not San Lorenzo, but and so an olive growing program. This is the viticulture program in the Napa Valley, and that's not wine. Law enforcement programs, video, media arts and communication, and business. Oh, there's the industry partners. Okay, one of the last things I have for you, and this is kind of fun to do. As we build our CTE programs, we need to start thinking about the programs that we develop and how we use the future facilities that will finish off our high school facility. So I like to look at plans because they're kind of fun to look at. So these are a few of the three major buildings that are left to be built on campus. This is the Career Technical Education building. Currently, it's designed to serve a purpose as a wood shop and a metal shop. But with the programs that we've designed, we're looking into repurposing possibly some of these spaces to fit our engineering and our computer networking and computer science programs, along with these art classrooms that are in here, maybe repurposing some of those for our Media Arts and Communication Academy, as well as some of our wet art lab activities that will happen with ceramics and such. So that's our CTE building. They're kind of fun to look at. That's 5 classrooms right there. This is our Performing Arts Center. I don't really like to call it the theater because the theater means that it's just a theater. Most people don't realize that there are 4 classrooms in this building. There is a drama classroom. You got to look at it. There's a drama classroom, a choir room, a band room, and a dance studio. And so it's an instructional space and a performing arts center that will be used in our Media Arts and Communications Academy. And then the final large project is our Learning Commons. Again, I don't like to call it a library. If you'll look at all the research, libraries are kind of going all the way of libraries, and Learning Commons are instructional spaces that provide opportunities for students to collaborate, present, with a few books, reference materials, and things like that. But right now we have over 10,000 items in our digital library available for students to check out on a regular basis, either on their Chromebook, their phone, or any other digital device that they can log into the system with. So you'll notice also in the library, though, that there are additional 5 instructional spaces, classroom spaces that will be used for things like our engineering AutoCAD lab, our video productions, journalism, and other programs that we are looking to implement. So we need to think strategically about the spaces that we have left to build. And while these buildings are already designed, the interior of the buildings are definitely up for negotiation about how we build them, and it's important that we get feedback from our community and our students as to what they need, and then purpose these spaces for that. And I think that's it. So as we build the programs at Mountain House High School in the career technical education arena, we look forward to serving students in a way that will help them get the technical knowledge that they need and the job skills that they need in order to leave our program and either go to college or on to careers that will help them become contributing members of society and to make a wage that helps them to support their families as they go throughout their educational and their lives. So that's all I have for you today.
Will this PowerPoint be going on the district website?
We can upload it, definitely.
Mr. Faber, I just wanted to personally thank you for, and whoever else was involved. It always seems easy for me when you're standing up on high, from my perspective of thinking, I know what people want, I know what they need. It's really when you start talking to students and find out, like you said, no idea we had so many students who might be interested in a career that had to do with law enforcement. And I just encourage us to keep taking those kinds of steps, because that 5 years from now, that's going to be different. And every few years, it's just going to change. And to keep listening to what the students want, because there's nothing, I say, more frustrating than having a child who wants to go to a school and take certain classes only to find out, no, we're not going to offer that. Why? And to give the students, because of the opportunities we have about how we built this school and how we're teaching our high school, the myriad of opportunities that we can get to them, because we're not stuck in a stoic, got to have 6 periods of this class in order to justify it financially. And I just hope I encourage us to continue to take those steps to get feedback from our students on what they want to see. So thank you for that.
I agree, and I'd like to piggyback on what Trustee Nielsen is saying. You know, we're trying to meet the students' needs, and I think most of us have seen the video of we are preparing children for careers in we don't know because they don't exist yet. And it's changing so quickly, so we need to be listening to the world, listening to our students, and see where their interests lie. Boy, this has really grown since the last time we saw it.
Sure has. I think it used to be like 4 columns.
Yeah, we didn't need such large paper.
No.
And I just have a little food for thought on your Learning Commons. Books will never go away, because I'll have to commit suicide if they do. Where I work is a small community, and we have a community/district library. The library was a teeny tiny building, and when we built our high school, we had a partnership for the library, and the library on our high school campus is open to the public after hours and on Saturdays. So that may be, I know the CSD is looking at plans for a library, and I didn't learn the depth of our partnership at work until recently, because I'm still kind of new there. So it might be something, maybe they could help us get this Learning Commons built. Just a thought to throw out there.
Anyone else? No? Thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Faber.
It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to consent items for consideration. I do believe we have corrections to the meeting minutes from last meeting, and those will be posted to the website. Approval of hires and resignations, as well as some donations, and the approval of the updated fundraisers.
Move to approve the consent items with the amended minutes.
I'll second. On to. Any discussion? No? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, and one absent. Motion carries.
So as usual, I would like to welcome some new staff members to our Lammersville family. Donnelly Gibson, High School Secretary 1, and Marian Pilani Jaramillo, a food service assistant. So I welcome those folks
Welcome to Lammersville.
serving our students.
Welcome to Lammersville.
Absolutely. Welcome to Lammersville. District Administrative Reports, Dr. Nicholas. Facilities update.
Not yet. It's coming, though. Well, good evening, board members, Madam Student Trustee. Before we get to the presentation on facilities, I did want to let the board and the community know that we received our letter of approval from the San Joaquin County Office of Ed, who's our budgetary oversight of our positive certification of our district budget, which is the way the business works and how we stay in good favor with the people who provide oversight at the state and county level. So congratulations to Alvina, her team, and the whole district, because without that, there are severe lack of autonomy. We'll just leave it at that. So let me talk a little bit. It's kind of piggybacks on Ben's presentation about facilities. And I'm going to actually be able to show the outside of some buildings, so hopefully it can pull a couple things together for some folks. We are currently now looking for a means to make our facilities a reality in our district. There are 3 real major building type things that have to be built. Phase 3, that we call it the high school, which includes a theater, a library, aquatic center, CTE building, and there are some ancillary projects that I'll address in a few moments. We also have Hanson Elementary School, where we're analyzing student growth data, which is exponential monthly. And I will get into that a little bit later. And then also a promise of 2 preschools at 2 of our elementary schools, one at Altamont and one at Hanson Elementary. So if you look at this rendering, it shows you the buildings yet to be built at Mountain House High School. And there's a legend here. So if you start over here, this is the Learning Commons, AKA library. This is the theater or performing center. This is the aquatic center. This is the Career Technical Ed building. The ancillary projects are a restroom and snack bar at the football stadium, a field house for spring sports out here in the fields, baseball, softball, and tennis courts, and I believe that's all of them. So those are yet to be completed. In the previous months, I've given 2 presentations on the means of why we're where we're at, but suffice to say, no state money, no developer money, and that's where we stand with those for building phase 3. So if you take a look at the theater or performing arts center, this is a general rendering of the theater, a front view and a side view. This is where you would enter campus from the north parking lot and moving towards the quad, the multi-purpose room over here to the left going south. Ben did an excellent job explaining that and tied to their career technical ed programs. But again, it's really important to know that this is where great art happens. Community events could happen. Shakespeare in the Park without the park, things like that.
And wind.
And speakers falling and you know. But also the classroom space, and it's important to note we're planning for 1,100 high schoolers next year with a full senior class, and the growth is just going to keep coming. So we need the programs that were referenced in Mr. Faubert's presentation. Those would be places where we would house them. This would be the Learning Commons, AKA library, what it would look like from the front and from the side. Again, that would go to the south portion of what is the administrative building now, and where it would break down. But it's also important to note that with these 3 classrooms, we can have programs, but we also have plans in these 2 conference rooms. There's been a lot of talk about how to get kids interacting with kids in other places. So what we would intend to do with those conference rooms and this larger room would be to put in interactive teleporting screens, not teleporting, that's the Star Trek theme, but the idea that I can get on a TV and talk to somebody. And we've been working for a couple of years now about the technology and what's best, but also projects. Imagine kids in our district working on projects with kids from other districts in the state, across the country, and ultimately forming sister partnerships in other countries. We have an amazing multicultural, multi-ethnic community. Wouldn't it be nice to have people communicating? So those rooms not only could be places where kids can meet and work, but also to be very technical in building operations for kids to do some amazing projects above and beyond the community. The aquatic center, 2 important notes there. It has to come with a pool house, and we will build it with solar heating to control the costs of heating the pool, which are the largest portion of maintaining an aquatic center. And these are some, this is the Career Technical Ed building. Again, different looks, but originally it was designed more with a shop concept. That was a few years ago. I think Mr. Faubert really did an excellent job really addressing what could go in that building in terms of giving kids opportunities to learn. And ultimately, that's how it breaks down. So you have a classroom here, one there, and one there. So there's 5 classroom spaces to do amazing things. And when we have the conversations, we're pooling information for kids, we'll have outreach to the community. We have to build these buildings and put in things that can change over time. So some of these rooms will have something that goes in and is built in and it's going to stay. And some of these rooms will be flexible so that as time passes, technology evolves, interests change, the community evolves, we could also make these rooms adaptable. So that's kind of the fun and creative part of developing our Career Technical Ed program is not only are we developing partnerships with Delta College, but we're also rolling back into our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade elective programs, CTE opportunities, and moving backwards all the way to K-5 with Project Lead the Way in the big plans. These are some ancillary projects. Snack bar is important at the football stadium. It's kind of this missing link as you walk in, but it's important with restrooms as well. And the field houses look very similar in structure. So that's really phase 3 of the high school and the outside look of the program. Peter Hansen Elementary School. Again, I challenge the community. I know everybody's very busy. Go out and drive around Peter Hansen neighborhood or Hansen Village. It is unbelievable the amount of houses they're building. But this is the site map. You can actually drive all the way around to right about here where that entranceway would be. They have a barricade, but it's all set up already. Other than there's a lot of mustard growing in the field right now. But this is a really important piece of data, is when you build a new school. In our community, it's growing exponentially, and it appears that the housing market is growing faster and faster. We are looking at 2 different tables. The one on the left here, which I believe is blue in the actual presentation that's on the computers, this is where we sit now with our current staffing. We currently have in our district approximately room for about 293 more students spread out throughout the 5 elementary schools. There are spaces available that we use and let people use for different things, so there's a little gap for room. But when you look at a 15-month build of a school and all the things that go into doing that, in our current state, we would exceed our capacity sometime in mid-year if, and I want to say this, if we continue to grow at approximately 15 K-8 students a month. So that's the pressure slide. This is the less pressure slide, which is more of an optimal growth, where the 293 students in the first one grows up to about 451 students. And that would be maximizing class sizes. Again, students who move into the community would be distributed amongst the elementary schools, and we would be able to put more kids out into the existing schools. But again, on a 15-month build schedule, the construction start date would just be a year from this summer, this spring. So there is a very real pressure about decisions that need to be made about building Hanson Elementary School. And I know that the 95 students that we currently have living in Hanson Village, I know that the number one question being said is, when are you building the school? So we are tracking this, but it's very important information for the community and the board to know. These are some interesting renderings that we just put up. This is what kind of this is not kind of, this is the design model done in computer graphic. I think if they did it, it would be that balsa wood model. Here's another look at the structures. This is a look at the admin building and the multi-use room and how they would be broken down. Again, all of these designs have been DSA approved, which is the Department of School Architecture. So this is all approved and ready to go. And this is what it looked like this morning when I drove out there to give a picture. And I was trying to capture the growth and at the same time, while standing on a large pile of rocks, take a good picture. So to the right is the site where the school would be. And in the foreground of the picture to the left is essentially what that park would be next to it. So that's an update on Hanson Village and the numbers of students we're growing in the district and where it would look like. And then we have, this is a picture of the Cuesta preschool. We have 2 additional preschools promised to the community. The funds have to come in, obviously, to build the buildings, but there's a plan to be one at Altamont, and there's planned to be one at Hanson. It's a 2-classroom setup with a restroom facility in the middle, so classroom 1, classroom 2, and restrooms. And ultimately, we've also been contacted by the developers, and they've asked us to come up with a naming committee for the school that would be built in Neighborhood D. And my understanding is that's a long out. They need it for naming purposes, but also what I'm told is sometime this spring they're going to begin developing the beginnings of the infrastructure for Neighborhood D for people in the community that aren't aware. That's to the southeast side of the high school. So that's a quick update on our buildings, and but I wanted the board and the community to see kind of where we're at with schools and our buildings.
So I would like to see that permission slip for the students to teleport to another country.
Yes.
Teleport.
Yes.
Hey, if nothing else,
that
go back to the 60s. I think it was the 60s in Star Trek, right?
There you go.
I'm glad to see us concentrating on those preschools, because the way California is going and the federal government in their plans, it's obvious that we're starting to get away from TK, and a lot of people's opinion is that we're moving towards universal preschool as an expectation of what we now call K-12. Some places are calling it TK-12. I don't know what it's going to become, but we're staying on the cutting edge, and I'm pleased to see that.
Also, as someone who's been on the board to go through this 4 or 5 times now, this is not the school construction timelines that you're laying out are stuff we'd experience, and my only caution for the district and for the community is, for those of us who have lived through Wickland and Bethany at capacity, which was well beyond what I think any teacher or student or parent would consider capacity, but bursting at the seams, that long projection timeline, again, I would hope no one wants to see us get to those numbers, because it was uncomfortable for everyone, for the teachers, for the students, for the parents, because again, 900 students at Bethany is just not good. 900 students at Cuesta is just not good. It's not good for a teaching environment. It's not good for the students. So we need to figure this out. We need to make a plan. So I'm glad we're continuing to bring it up and start talking about the next steps. And I will let you know, Neighborhood D has been named.
Oh.
It has. Every neighborhood, village, but I believe A and B have been named. It was a prerequisite with Trimark before we even named Altamont.
Would that include, it's just because
Neighborhood D is, only A and B have not been named.
The school?
The whole village, we named all the schools in conjunction with
all
Trimark before they sold it to
That makes the
Shea.
process simple.
It should be very simple.
I'll go look it up.
So, but I don't know that you'd
And
have
I don't
it
believe
because
our
Trimark
new
took it.
developers are aware of that. So I will look it up
Can't
and
find it, I can
we'll,
get
we'll
it.
contact
And why
Mr.
did we have to consider as a board the naming of Hanson?
Hanson was the only one we hadn't named. There's Old River, there's
Evelyn Costa's one
Evelyn
of them.
Costa. We've named
Well, I'm glad I'm learning this in front of the entire community. I appreciate that.
It's not your fault because my understanding, I will tell you that the developer participated when it was Trimark, and when they bought it, when they sold it to Shea, I would have thought Trimark would hand that information over to them so they'd have their marketing materials ready. So I'm just a little confused about between Trimark and Shea why that wasn't shared.
We'll find out what it is, and we'll get it all corrected. So.
Oh, it's not on us, like I say. That's on Trimark and Shea to not interface with each other. So. That it?
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
but we have some pictures and a kind of an update on one more report. So I'll just go ahead and stand up here. So on Tuesday morning, the original. I mean, look, we took this very, very seriously, and it's a very serious matter when water shuts down. You have some major, major issues. You have, can people drink? Can people go to the bathroom? Can we feed kids? And can people wash their hands? So it's a very, very serious matter, and a significant and monumental effort was made by everyone on the site, staff here across the district, at all levels. So I want to be sure that everybody in the community knows how serious we took this. But at the same time, sometimes water pipes break, and you have to deal with it, and if you panic, all you do is make things worse for everybody. So it was an adventure, and it started yesterday morning at about 7:30. I got a text from Alvina. There's a water main broke at Altamont. So I think we have a picture of what that looked like to kind of set up what we're doing. And I have the clicker, so there it is. So if for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Altamont campus, this is on the west side towards the basketball courts near the track. And so water, when the water main was on coming from the big giant pipe thing over by the road, this is what happened. So out of that asphalt, it bubbled up and water was flowing. So we immediately contacted the contractor, who we have a good relationship with, and he left Oakland and was here within about an hour. He was contacting subcontractors, and the goal was, we've got to stop the water to find the leak to get it fixed. In the meantime, a secondary plan was what are we going to do to take care of toileting needs, drinking needs, food service, and those things. So a multiple layered team was put together immediately, and people went to work. So stuff like Larry, and Larry really stepped up, so kudos to Larry Silvera, is you think it's simple, but that water was building up. I mean, it was coming out at a pretty heavy-duty level. So in order to get things just simply clean, we have work such as what Larry was doing, but we also put a plan together and communicated with staff about how we were going to handle kids going to the bathroom and things like that. So Alvina led the charge on most of this, and I want to give her and her team compliments. I want to point out Bernie Hill and her team compliments, because within a very short period of time, things were moving all over the place to make sure the kids were taken care of. Also in the back, and I'm going to bring them up a couple of times, is Mr. Yeager and Mrs. Bustatil, who were running around trying to communicate and keep things calm. So those are the core people who were standing in the circle around this water when this whole thing happened. So time passes, there's no answer. All we know is when we turn on the water, that thing floods. We knew the worst case scenario, and it didn't happen, was that the break was underneath the building. So, the questions are, how are you going to fix that, and how fast are you going to fix it? And so we were hearing days into next week, which made us go, well, we know that we're for sure not going to be able to get everything perfectly fixed by tomorrow. And Alvina and her team contacted the California Department of Ed and their ancillary groups who deal with situations like this, and porta potties, hand washers, and things like that were on their way. This picture shows a couple of them, but they were spread out throughout the campus. This is not an ideal situation. It's very serious. Nobody likes to go to the bathroom in a porta potty, but school was running, parents were at work. We could get kids fed, we could get them to their toileting needs taken care of, and water and the like. So we also had people going off to Costco and bringing in bottled waters, and the teaching staff were champs. They really kept the kids calm, and they really did an excellent job, along with the support staff. By today, we have, and this is a very popular item with kids, so who knew? But the kids absolutely loved running to this Aero Water trailer thing that operates very similar to Kegerator or and things like that.
I had to go on. We need one of these at a board meeting.
So the idea is you got to take care of the immediate needs. So while all of this organization and triage is going on, we're putting the full court press on the contractor, the subcontractors. It's like, get it fixed. So we're in the middle of the school day, and so the subcontractor showed up, and finally by the afternoon, they were jackhammering the concrete around that spot. So at about 5 o'clock last night, I think it was Alvina and I, might have been James and I, were standing with the contractor, hoping that when they punctured into the ground, there was going to be this really soppy mess, and they were going to say it's right there. What we came to find out this morning is the water, everyone knows that water seeks the path of least resistance, and this water leak was going in a 90-degree angle. So that's another picture of the water purifier. So the culprit is this piece right here, and this is Mr. Yeager's desk. The blue plastic there in this horseshoe thing, and I think it's called a flange, but I'm not an expert on these terms. That was the culprit. And what happened is there's conduit that was running over the top of it that was moving other materials, and this ran underneath it. And as it was explained by the contractor to me, there was enough wiggle room for things to move. And normally things like this lay in dirt, and it's compacted at the bottom of it and on the top of it and squeezes it down. And so this had enough wiggle room that when pressure goes and it does its thing, it started to move, and that blue piece sheared off. So we didn't put a picture of the hole, but basically what happened is there's a water valve here, and the water was shooting in the direction towards the building. But because of the other conduit, there was looser dirt, and it took an immediate hard left and shot out into the basketball courts. So the original thought that the leak might be under the building was because of the basketball court leak. But the good news was they were able to find this under the overhang just basically right in the middle. So that got fixed this afternoon, and so there's a temporary plug or cap on the leak. So that could stay forever. But what we said is the number one priority is to get the school up and running. People need to go to the bathroom. That is clearly the number one stressor for everybody, whether they're a kid or an adult. So that was taken care of about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Then they turned the water on. And so the water was flowing. I took a videotape of it. I happened to be there. I was expecting a noise or some kind of drum roll or a cymbals clank, and nothing happened. So it's anticlimactic. So all of the water's working. We started to subtly get information out to the staff, but also send an email to parents. Robocall went out tonight. So then, and this is important, and Shane talked about, Trustee Nielsen talked about the Lammersville way and the spirit of this place. And it's great because the work didn't stop when the contractor left and we knew the water was on, because our CBO, the principal and assistant principal, went to every bathroom and flushed every toilet to make sure that everything was right. We brought in additional custodial staff to make sure the bathrooms were clean. So for the community's sake, so everybody's clear, I'm going to have Dr. Gill go ahead and play this, that this is an actual Altamont toilet post-water adventure.
Hold on. This has got to be a first.
So I've learned over the many years that I've worked in this business that you take things very seriously, but you also have to be human, and you have to recognize the foibles in life. And I hope that everybody understands the enormous effort that the site, the teachers, support staff, site administration, district folks, custodians took in making this a fix. And so that's my update on that. So tomorrow, the toilets are working, the water's working. We're going to not do the drinking fountains tomorrow, just let everything kind of clear itself out. So the big water thing with the taps are going to be available, and water and the like. I would like to give Alvina an opportunity to add anything she wants to this presentation and also acknowledge the people specifically by name who did the work behind the scenes.
I have a very long list, but I'd also like to add Bethany and Cuesta School. Cuesta's kitchen staff prepared the food because we couldn't prepare it on the site to be transported, and Bethany offered their restrooms to staff if necessary. I do have a list of the names. Of course, there's Mr. Yeager, Mrs. Busatil. My assistant went and picked up some covers for the smaller children's, the primary covers, so the hole didn't discourage them from using it. That's Rita Salins. We have Lori Robertson, who made some phone calls. Obviously, you saw Larry Silvera was very actively on site. We had 10 custodians and staff that kind of rotated through. Nick Rose, Tomas Nieto, Juan Raimundo Perez, Harold, I think I'm going to butcher this name, Eileen Bogan, Ruben Martinez, Maria Ayala, Nicholas Anderson from IT, because we did move 4 classrooms, so we had to make sure that they were set up appropriately. Wayne Delzell, Lydia Selfa, Maria Martinez, and then, of course, Mrs. Hill, Mrs. Corliss, Magdalena Haragi, Marian Jaramillo, and, of course, as I mentioned, the kitchen staff over at Cuesta. Also, Trina Elementary, they had a similar issue, so they gave us some of the ideas to get the drinking water. I had remembered a water buffalo from another school district that I had an issue where the water could not be consumed, so it was an adventure. And I spent the last day and a half camping out with Mrs. Busatil and Mr. Yeager, just making sure everything was delivered when it needed to be delivered. So thank you to everybody.
And I know we have a lot of committees, but it did put to test some of our procedures and policies that we have written down. And though nearly all of them worked under duress, we had some things that we learned as well. So at our next meeting, safety meeting, we'll be able to talk a little bit about that because everything's great when you write it down in a laboratory room, but then all of a sudden a water pipe breaks and you're saying, where do we find portable toilets? So,
and we did. That was the first thing we did. We opened up the emergency preparedness plan and went through the checklist, and we're like, this isn't everything that we need to do. So, yes.
Out of curiosity, this is being treated as a warranty issue with the builder?
Yes.
Because it appears to me as though there was some issue with possibly improperly installing that pipe in the beginning. It should have been, there shouldn't have been wiggle room. There shouldn't have been any room around it. It should have been thoroughly packed and stabilized rather than something like this.
And I should correct the record too. So the fix is in, but there's still a big hole. Concrete has to be fixed. So this weekend they're going to bring in a crew. It's already been scheduled, and they're going to move where that thing was placed to about 3 foot to the right, and then reconnect everything, and then put the soil back in. They have a special technique to pack it all back, and then pour concrete. And I'm being assured that by the time kids come back on Tuesday after the 3-day weekend, it will be done. But getting the water on was our priority.
So when the school was built, we were in the throes. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So when the school was built, we were in the throes of a drought, and they packed the soil one way. So please make sure that they are planning for packing soil in the middle of El Nino, because I'm sure it's different. I'm not a contractor, but this just makes sense to me. Right. So we need that assurance because the soil is going to behave very differently now than when the school was built.
Especially at that school.
Yeah, and we don't want to have this happen again. I'm sure the kids found it quite a fun adventure.
So one of our biggest worry was for the little ones and the porta potties, and we had a lot of feedback from parents, and I will say that some parents chose to keep their kids at home, which is absolutely their choice. I think it was 33
were
kids
confirmed count.
Across the school. But they became a kind of a hit. And actually, one kid wanted to go 4 times, so I don't know. That was a funny anecdote. So they had to we went from worrying about them not being comfortable to being too comfortable. And there's a great picture of Mrs. Bustatil and Mr. Yeager who put in special seats for little people. And we bought a little step stool and things like that. So there was a special marked little people bathroom as well. So.
And we are tracking the costs. So far to date, I haven't considered some of the overtime on with staff, but it's up to $4,500 right now for all of the materials.
And those invoices will be forwarded to the
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I do want to say, she's been mentioned twice, but for people that don't know Bernie Hill, when it's happening, you want her on your team.
Absolutely.
She showed. I mean, she was running all the kitchens, but she showed up, and she got things done. Things were taken care of, and we're running around dealing with water, and she's making sure kids get fed. So I want to give her a special acknowledgement.
I would just like to put a big thank you out there to all the district staff and the site staff at Altamont for stepping up and taking care of this mess in a timely fashion and keeping things rolling.
I'll echo
Keeping
that.
things calm. I didn't hear anything until, what time did I call you? About 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Last night.
I didn't hear anything all day.
I was very concerned yesterday, but today so many of the parents that came in left me feeling more comfortable about the situation and did make a comment of how smooth that it went. So that made me feel a little better.
I just want to add an extra kudos to the site administration. The number of emails we get as board members, we get all of the emails that you get as parents for each school. We get them for all the schools, and the number of emails that I was getting to keep us updated on what was going on. If I had had a student there, I would have been very appreciative of it because it was consistently, we knew what was going on, we knew what the plans were, and I'm hopeful the parents appreciated that. But as a board member, I very much appreciate the administration for all of the communication. And I just want to add one thing. This is something I heard in one of my lectures today. Stuff is going to happen, and Murphy lives. We just have to be prepared to figure it out. And the last thing you can do is panic. So I appreciate all of the staff for their ability to recognize this is just a different situation and figure it out and go on to the next thing. So, and it sounds to me like it was the least disruptive for the learning environment as could have been, and that is ultimately, I think, what the goal was, and I'm glad that was met. So thank you all very much.
Lots of engineering lessons yesterday, I'm sure, to the students.
Yeah.
When they wanted to know what happened.
So I think that it's been covered enough. I'm not going to go through all the thank yous, but I would echo all of the other board members. Thank you for all the hard work. Teachers, staff, kitchen staff, everybody. Thank you very much for, pulling together and watching out for the kids.
The administrators are still awake.
I know. I don't understand that. And we'll move on to district maintenance and operations report.
That was it, sir.
That was it. Awesome. All right, that works great. So then we'll move on to action items. Action item A: consider and approve, or consider for approval, the 2015-16 inter and intra-district transfers. Report.
None.
Move to approve 2015-16 intra-district transfers.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? With one absent, motion carries. Item B: consider for approval 2016-17 inter and intra-district transfers. Report.
None.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. One absent. Motion carries. Item C: consider for approval the Camber Keller furniture purchase for the district office.
The purchase is a reconfiguration, which will allow us to add staff over the next couple years as we grow from 4,100 up to 5,000, so we could get 5 additional people in the district office.
5?
5.
Wow.
Move for approval.
Impressive.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes. I did reach out. Thank you very much to district staff for responding to my questions. This is not, we're reconfiguring because we're growing and we know we're going to need to hire people. This is not we're hiring 5 people right now. I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. One absent. Motion carries. Item D: consider for approval public disclosure form AB 1200. Report.
This finishes our salary work for the 15-16 school year.
Move to approve public disclosure form AB 1200 for California School Employee Association, chapter number 873, unrepresented certificated and classified groups for the 2015-16 school year.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. And one absent. Motion carries. Item E, consider for approval the job share proposal for Mia Hicks and Stephanie Martin. Report.
So we have two excellent teachers who are sitting out there
Patiently.
tonight, patiently listening to interesting information, I'm sure, who are going to brought forward a proposal similar to a proposal at another school site. They put a lot of work into it. I know one better than the other since she works with my little one in the first grade, but these are excellent teachers who are the right kind of fit for a job share, and the information they presented shows that.
Do you want to bring them up?
Yeah, why don't you come on up?
So I'd like to say, as a 37-year educator, I would love to have a student in the class that you proposed to us.
Thank you. Absolutely. Having my mother-in-law has been a teacher in Dublin for over 30 years, and for the vast majority of that was a job share teacher. I've seen what job shares can do when they're good and what they can do when they're bad. And when you're going into it with the plan that's as detailed, that's as meticulous, and well thought out as the plan the two of you gave to us, I have zero problems standing here and voting to approve that. I thank you both very much for the work and the effort that you put into it. And with that, I'll ask, can I have a motion?
Move to approve job share proposal for Mia Hicks and Stephanie Martin.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I only have like 30 questions. No, I'm just kidding. Your proposal was, I'm new to education, right? But I was blown away by the level of detail in your proposal. So, great job. It clearly shows that you went into this saying, how can we make this work for the betterment of all concerned? Thank you very much.
And I'd like to add that what most people don't realize is when two teachers job share, they're doing far more than 0.5 of the work.
Yes.
They're doing more like 0.65, 0.7 because of the overlap.
Right.
And that was obvious in your proposal, that you're ready to do that for our students and your commitment to their education. I just want people to know that, because I've been a principal with a phenomenal job share, and they did far more than 0.5. And I know you'll be doing that. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm done.
I just wanted to thank you ladies for the thorough and well thought out presentation that we got in our board packet. I think it'll work well.
And you had a great model to follow.
We did.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, and one absent. Motion carries. Thank
you very
ladies.
much.
Thank you very much. Next, consider for approval overnight high school field trip requests. Report?
Recommend that we approve them.
I did have a question for Mr. Faubert on the senior Disneyland and Magic Mountain field trip, which is basically a report in on the most recent senior culture, I guess, item, which is the open campus. And I just wanted to ask, I mean, I'm all in favor of this, but I thought, hey, I'd like to check in and see how that's going. My hope is that you're going to tell me that the number of seniors that have come back tardy has been very minimal.
Zero, right?
Well, zero so far because they're getting the paperwork tomorrow during advisory. So they'll get paperwork advisory tomorrow. The soonest they can return it is Friday. And Monday of next week, they'll start signing themselves out. Or Tuesday, sorry, Monday, they're not here. So Tuesday of next week will be the first day. So the next time we have a board meeting, I can let you know.
Well, 2 weeks of it might be a little premature, but
Yeah, the next board meeting. I would just like to hear preliminary
Yes.
reports because I'm excited for the
I can
kids.
at least tell you how many kids are eligible to go off and have filled the paperwork out by that time. Yeah.
I also have a couple of questions on the CASL field trip. It said something about the fundraising. It only mentioned parent donations. So what is the contingency plan if a student's parents don't make a donation to fund the trip?
ASB leadership has a running fund that can be used to scholarship students who don't have the ability to pay.
Okay. And on the DECA trip, and I love the ideas behind the trips, buses circled as well as vans. Are they actually using both?
No, they're only using vans.
Okay.
I actually did have a question on that. It says that the plan is for 20 students and 2 teachers, 2 vans reserved, but only 8 students can be in each van, so the numbers didn't work for
That's
me.
why I asked if we were doing both, because, yeah.
No, I think, oh, there's a couple of parents who are driving their own students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's vans and students.
Personal transportation.
Personal transportation.
Are we required at that point to provide insurance because is this considered a school-based trip and we need to get the indemnification? I'm not sure. I'd like to check with legal on that just to make sure.
Sure.
We may not because it is a parent
We
driving their
have
own student,
stuff
but
because their parents drive their own kids on field trips all the time.
All the time, yeah.
yeah, but every time I've
If
ever
you drive
done
your
it,
own, it's the same with any other field trip. If you drive your own and you're,
They still register
yeah.
with the proper insurance
exactly.
and stuff.
So
We
I just
have
want to make sure we're
procedures.
doing that. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. And I thought everyone was going to ask, do we get to go to Disneyland and Magic Mountain too? I mean, no. See?
Yes, but only 2 of us.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I will have to threaten my daughter with chaperoning the trip
There you go.
if we decide to okay it. I was threatening her with not.
That would have been a better one. Like, honey, I fought for you, but they voted against it. So can I have a motion?
Move to approve overnight high school field trip requests.
I will second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. 1 absent. Motion carries. Information and discussion items. The Human Resources Recruitment Fair, Dr. Gill.
So Dr. Gill sets up her own presentation. There's a lot of work she's put into this, and we're very, very excited about this recruitment fair. This is for all staff, teachers, classified, and there's a lot of creativity going into this. So I want to introduce Dr. Gill once she, it looks like she's got it up, about the first ever recruitment fair hosted by our district.
Good evening, Governing Board and Dr. Nicholas. So this is very exciting because we not only get to have our very first recruitment fair going to happen, but we are also going to be some role models. Some people are copying from us. I saw a flyer this weekend. Somebody told me, guess what? We're copying from you guys. So that was really exciting to see that. So I said, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Our HR team has been working very hard because not only this is a year for us, like last couple of years too, because when we hire 50 to 80 employees, depending on the growth, depending on all those different things, especially bringing a full senior class next year, we also have a shortage nationwide, which we know of teachers. And we said, why not bring people here, show them who we are, show what we are about, show them our community, because what happens is whenever we go to job fairs outside, really people don't talk to us because they say, oh, where's Lammersville? Where's Mountain House? So it took us like 2 minutes to explain to them, by then they lose interest. So we said, why not bring them here to show them who we are, what our community is about. So we are hosting our first recruitment fair on the 20th of February. We would really like you to come visit. I'm hoping the weather will be nice and beautiful and sunny at the Mountain House High School, because this way we get to show off our really cool resort-like high school. And that's what we call it. It's like a resort, Palm Springs, right? And so, and also we are purposely hosting our very first community health fair. It is not Lammersville Health Fair. It is Mountain House and Trace Lammersville Community Health Fair to bring our community together on that day as well. We are also going to have students there. Hopefully, maybe our band will play. Really, the community members. So the really people who are applicants show come and see what we are about as a community. That we are a community together, doing the best we can to provide the best education for our students. So that's the whole idea. So we're going to have actually students from high school greeting people so they can actually see, oh my gosh, the students here are so nice and so respectful. So that's what we're going to show off our students that day too. So we have really big plans. And so along with the health fair and recruitment fair, so there is all this background work goes to make these things happen. So we actually start working on it, believe it or not, the community may not know this, that when hiring happens, even though we will be opening the school in August, we have been working on it since October. So as soon as we start the year, we start thinking about next year. That's how life goes. So we actually have been working on this flyer since November or so. We start advertising it in December. And as you can see, there's a link right here where it says register now, the Google link. People can actually go online and register. And I'm going to show you those numbers. I'm very happy about those numbers as well, but we need more. And so people have been already registering. And we actually have advertised it in many different places. As you can see, over 40 different higher ed institutions. Actually, they have our flyers posted literally on their websites, on their bulletins, many different places. We also actually sent it to the local newspapers, our own websites, our own newsletters, Facebook. Our goal is to, as the time comes close by, advertise it in the Bay Area radios, San Joaquin, Modesto side radios, and also all the big Bay Area and big newspapers and monsters. So there's all these different areas where we're timing every single thing strategically so that we really hit the people at the right time in the right way as it happens. And I'm sure we will learn a lot from it too. Things that we'll say, oh, we'll do this next year because it's the first time we're doing it, right? Very organic. This is how many applicants we have registered so far. And we would still like to see a lot more single subject because we have lots of openings with the 12th grade coming in, tons of opening at the high school. So community, I'm making a request to everybody in the community. If you know people who are looking for a job, please tell them to register. Please tell them to come to a recruitment fair on February 20th. And this is the process we will be using during the fair, so everybody knows. Registration will start around 8:30. We will have all these community members, all these staff members who will be volunteering or working that day and recruiting parents. And there will be a short orientation, showing people about what we are about, what our district is about, really pumping them up. And then, in the meantime, we will screen their resumes and go through all that process, and there's a potential that some people actually will have on-site interviews. And our goal is that if some people are really, really good, we hope to offer them provisional contracts that day, pending, paperwork, backgrounds, all that kind of stuff, which is, very common. These days, people pick them up like crazy, and we want to be in the competition as all the other districts are as well. And we're also going to provide the applicants information on these areas, like these are the different jobs. We'll have tables set up to provide information because we are trying not to only hire certificated staff, but also classified staff as well. And this is our biggest selling point because it's all about advertising about our district, that why Lammersville Unified School District is the best place for them to come. It is the best place because it's the beautiful community, great people, very involved parents. Our students, this is very, very proud of, and I say this to people out when I ever go to the county, when they look at their kids, I say, you know what, one thing I'm going to tell you, I am extremely proud of our students. We have the best students that anybody else has. So when we are hiring teachers, that's one thing people do look at, is what kind of students you have. We also, I'm very proud of this as well, we also have very competitive salaries now and very competitive benefits. After going through all these raises and every single thing, when we put them on the chart, we are actually pretty up there So that makes us proud that we can actually proudly say, work in Lammersville Unified School District. We are not only a great community with great technology, and wonderful students, we also actually pay pretty well and have really great benefits. And another beautiful thing is that for the people who live in Tri-Valley, they only have to counter commute about 20 miles, right? So that's very nice. So they should come work in Mountain House, in Lammersville School, in our schools. And we have one of the best schools ever. I mean, look at our school. Just take a second. I'm going to just be quiet for a second. Just look at them.
What did you just say?
I know, what?
Hey now.
So
Hey now.
beautiful.
I never thought I'd hear.
So beautiful schools, right? I mean, our facilities are the top-notch, best ever, and we are very proud of them, no doubt. And even when we have water problems, they still look beautiful, no doubt. Okay, so beautiful facilities. So we are, that's our way to advertise our schools. And above all, we have really hardworking students, really good kids, and look at our staff. We know how to work hard and play hard. We have teams who are doing a great job, and I'm very proud to say this, that we have very dedicated and caring board members. So that's really tells, because that's one thing people do look at. What kind of boards this district has? Believe or not, they do. So we are very proud to say that we have one of the best board members ever that there are out. So that's very, very important for people to know, people who work here. And above all, the best thing ever, we have highest performing unified school district in the county and the best students. So we are CSBA California Golden Bell Award winning district, one of the few in the county, and then also California Distinguished Schools in our district. So there is nothing, if we look at different aspects, we heard about Science Olympiad, Math Olympiad, there is really like nothing out there that we don't have. Really, there's nothing out there that we don't have. We are small, but we are really mighty. And as they were talking about earlier during the Science Olympiad presentation, we are one of the smallest districts when we actually compete, but we are usually one of the highest performing in all those competitions. Lammersville's kids' names come out all the time, and I am usually, because I'm not competitive, but when they come, when they ask questions, they usually say, "Kush, what did you do with these kids? How do you feed them?" I said, "It's a secret. We don't tell you guys." But it's just so proud to say that there are districts with 40,000 kids and 27,000 kids and 20,000 kids. With a small number of kids, we perform very high, and we are very proud of that. And we also have 21st century classroom learning opportunities for the kids. This is our goal. This is our motto. We are going to continue working on it, that we're going to provide the latest technology to our kids, great opportunities to them with one-to-one technology in 7th through 12th grade, and continue adding technology every year as we go by. Chromebooks, and every single teacher receives a laptop, which is not true in many districts. And somebody actually told me on the other day, they said, "Can you make sure, put this little sentence on your PowerPoint and say that every teacher, when you walk in your room, you receive a laptop?" Because many districts, that doesn't happen. So, and the career pathways, that's another huge thing we have, which many school districts don't have. So we are very proud of what we are providing. And then finally, one of the biggest things that is needed these days to implement Common Core standards and prepare students for 21st century careers in colleges, that is the ongoing professional development that we have, with a really great team that we have, who is providing, starting with the new staff orientation, going into BITSA for supporting new teachers, then Common Core training is an ongoing thing throughout the year, sometimes within the district, sometimes sending people to the county, sometimes sending them all over the state. And for career pathways training, we send people all over the country. We have several teachers every year during summer. They go all the way to Wisconsin, Iowa, Texas, everywhere in the state, in the states, in different states, to do those trainings. So we are very proud of what we are actually providing, in spite of one of the districts who receives the least amount of money, because we know how to make the money work for us and take care of things. So again, my request is please, if you know some people who are looking for jobs or you have relatives, friends anywhere, send our flyers to them and ask them to come to our recruitment fair. I know I'm selling, and that's my job. And so please make sure they apply. And finally, our goal is to prepare our students for their future, not our past. So we're going to continue moving forward towards 21st century learning classrooms. And I really want to end this presentation by thanking our team, the team that is going to work on the 20th, and also my HR team, Jackie Choa, Rina Kore, and also Tina Rios. She worked so hard to put the whole thing together. And without them, there is no way we would be able to do this. So thank you very much. Appreciate your listening.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will admit I stole your flyer. But it's so nice to be able to share ideas because our districts do not compete with each other.
I was just joking.
I know. When my secretary made up the flyer, because I gave her yours, she's like, it looks a little bit too much like theirs, but it's a beautiful flyer.
No,
so why not
it's a
borrow the
compliment to
ideas?
us. It's a compliment,
Yes.
right? We take it with pride. So, any questions?
I'm looking forward to visiting the recruitment fair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. And then the second informational item.
Yeah, it's just simply a request from our CBO and the business office. They're asking that we hold the public hearing requirement of the LCAP approval process as a special board meeting to give them a little more time to prepare the budget part, which is quite cumbersome. This will be in the May-June part of the year. Did I get that right?
You did. So my hope, and I know we discussed this when we talked about the facility handbook approval in June, to moving the public hearing from the first board meeting in June to June 13th, which is a Monday.
No. Just kidding.
Please. That'll provide the business office 2 extra weeks to prepare the
My
budget.
attitude is if that would help make lives better, then it's the least we can do.
What was the date again?
June 13th, Monday, June 13th.
I will blissfully have nothing to do. Nothing. So yes, happy to have a meeting.
Mondays are generally open, so yeah, that's fine.
June 13th, you won't be done by then?
I'm a 12-month employee.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Good point.
I would like to be off.
Okay.
June 13th.
In June, I just would want to confirm with Mr. Balzerini that it works for him, but it should be okay for.
June. Yeah, it's fine.
That works for me, I know.
Thank you.
All right, super. Thank you. All right, so we've got some calendar items there for anyone interested in coming to some of the committee meetings. I have a couple of different meetings coming up in the next few weeks, and then our next meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight on, the 17th? And then we have some issues to discuss in closed session, so if I could have a motion?
Move to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So Alvina, that'll just be a quickie just to approve the budget, right? Kirk, that'll just be a quickie just for the budget. Okay. Quick question for